Today, I want to talk about the art of living a real life. So, I just got off recording an episode of a podcast that I do periodically with some friends. I'm going to give them a shout out, Katarina Jang and Mercedes Davis. And our podcast is called Communion. And we just get up there and we just talk. We don't know what we're going to say, we have no plan. We just get up there, whatever's arising we get present with, and we just share. And it's a really beautiful experience, especially because it's mostly spontaneous. We have no schedule. We just say, hey, you want to get on and talk? And we just do. We record it and make a podcast out of it. And we used to do it just recording ourselves talking just as friends. And then we decided we wanted to start sharing with other people because we had each at the same time all left our careers and went into this great unknown. And over the past almost 4 years since we made those decisions to go out into the world and discover whatever we had to discover, we've covered a lot of things and we've grown a lot. We've changed a lot. My hair is grayer. Other people have had other things that changed in their lives over these past 4 years. But one thing that I can say for certain is that every change that's happened in our lives has been real. And that's what I want to talk about today because I have this commitment to just living a real life. And that's not to take anything away from anyone else, but I feel like many of our lives are unreal. So much of it is scripted, so much of it is culturally informed, societally informed, socially informed, and a lot of it is survival instinct based because we come into this world and we, as I've said in previous broadcasts, that we get taught that everything's a threat. And when you spend so much of your life managing threat, how can you call that a real life? And I'm not trying to say that in a negative way because I want for you what I want for myself. I want you to live a real life because a real life sees you as beautiful. A real life sees you as a miracle. A real life sees you as a creator and that you come out into this world and you get to enjoy it just because you're here. Earlier today, I played a game with my daughter, which was basically us trying to throw some sticks through some holes on this thing on a playground. And we were just sitting there having a good time, just making up games. We do it all the time. We have this game called Doo-Doo Shoot. I won't get into that one, but it's basically dog poop is involved in trash cans. You can figure it out. But at any rate, we just make up stuff and we play together, my little 8-year-old. And we just make up games all the time. We've had like a game where we made like a tennis ball out of some trash paper and we're just like trying to hit paper with a stick. And we were doing that on the tennis court. And then some people who actually wanted to play tennis showed up and were bothered. But we were just getting to enjoy this experience, this real experience of being creative, being in wonder, and just living. And in the game today, when we were playing, we were trying to throw the stick, but it just kept flopping around, and we couldn't get in the hole. And I said, "Dang, too bad we don't have like some chewing gum or a little rubber ball or something like that that we could put on the end of the stick so that we could stabilize it so it can go through the hole." My daughter takes a few steps and goes, "Would a gumdrop work?" And I said, "Yeah, what?" And she found a gumdrop. We stuck the gumdrop out there and we threw it. And then we kept playing, and we were throwing it for a long time and missing every time. And then at some point, my daughter goes, "You know what? I don't care what hole it goes through." And she throws it and it just goes into one of the holes. She's like, "Oh my God, I did it." After both of us were trying for like 15 minutes and could not get either one inside of a hole. And so after she said that, I said, "You know what, buddy? I surrender too. And I also don't care what hole it goes into." And then I closed my eyes and I didn't close them all the way, but I closed them enough. But then I threw it and it went exactly through the hole that I had been trying to get it through for 15 minutes. And I said, "Look at that, man." And then we both were like, "Wow, that was awesome." And then we went over and recounted it in our life. Our time, the whole game and how it unfolded. We're like, "Remember how we had the stick? Then we said we wish we found something. Then we found a gumdrop and then we let go." And it was just so fun and so real. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for all of us every single day, to just live a real life. And I know it probably sounds like, "Oh, how am I going to have a real life when there's all these terrible things happening in the world? Oh, how am I going to live a real life when I got bills to pay? How am I going to live a real life when blah, 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 blah?" But you know what? whether you live a real life or not, all those things are still true. And if you put importance over them over living a real life, you're going to both have to do those things and miss out on this life. And how unfortunate is that? In my life, I've had all kinds of jobs. I've made a lot of money. I've made little money. I've been all over the spectrum. I've had relationships that were really sweet and didn't last. And I've had rough ones that lasted longer. I've had all sorts of things that have happened in this life, but all of it has had reality as a main component. And part of living reality is being able to be present with who you are, is being able to sit still and allow things that are uncomfortable to come up and witness them and release them and ask questions and be curious about yourself. Like one of the questions I'm asking myself right now is who would I be if I didn't feel this impulse to protect? Because a lot of the best times in my life have been when I didn't feel like I had somebody to protect or to look after. And I've talked about that enough. And if you want to read the post, Sins of Overprotection or the Sin of Overprotection, you can read that post on my Substack and get a sense of what I'm talking about. But every day that I'm mindful that I don't have to protect people as much as I used to feel like I had to, I get lighter and lighter, and my life gets more and more real and more miraculous. And I've had these moments of it. And when I look back at when I've had those greatest moments, it's always been in those moments when I just allow myself to be, when I'm not trying to do something, I'm not striving. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it up again. There's this concept called Wu Wei, which means the doing that comes from non-doing. And if I could name what I would love for my life for the rest of my Pedro-ness, would be to live from Wu Wei, to be able to come from this stillness and to allow the moment to guide me. And knowing that that moment is connected to all moments, to know that I'm a part of this creation and that I'm woven into this thing intricately and beautifully, just like everybody else. And even the things that I see and I'm like, what is that? And I don't like that or whatever. I don't have to lose joy just because there's things that I disagree with in the world. And what I can do is allow the joy inside of me to be informed by these things that I might have resistance to, and then get creative, instead of just getting angry or frustrated or whatever the case may be, but to just get creative and work with people who also want to be creative to create better systems and better ways of being a community and deepening relationships, all these other things that could come about if we just lived a real life. Because I feel that trying to sustain this fake life that many of us have subscribed to is really the big part of the problem. I don't have a problem getting political if I need to, but I'm going to choose not to right now. But I'm going to say is there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of fakery going on in the world, a lot of building your identity on these sandy structures that are unstable. And we're holding on to these things and we're going to lose ourselves in them. And I think that it's time to let some of that stuff go and to get truly real. And that's what I'm doing. I'm getting real. I'm witnessing life. I'm asking myself what is mine to do, what isn't mine to do. I'm asking myself questions about, what is mine to do in terms of leading or guiding and what isn't. And maybe none of it is mine to do. And I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, I have this one life that I am living right now. And I know that if I don't pay attention to it, I'm going to miss out on it. And I don't want to. And I also want to spend time with other people who don't want to miss out on their lives. I want to spend time with people who want to be real. And so I am leaning into this art of living a real life, which comes as I understand it and have experienced it from being still, letting go, being cool with silence, and allowing whatever magic the moment has to offer to show up. Just like my daughter and I playing our really weird game. it's like, it's just allowing the moment to bring this wonder in. And it can happen anywhere at any time under any circumstance. And the more that we allow it, the more we can celebrate it and the more our systems and the things that we do will reflect it. And that's my contribution for today. That's all I have. I appreciate whoever ends up watching this. If you get something out of it, share it. If you have a challenge being real and you want some help getting aligned, reach out to me. I am doing Enneagram typing for folks now. And if you're not familiar with Enneagram, I can give you an introduction to it in brief. I look at it as a roadmap that helps, or even more like a compass that helps a person locate where they are so they can have more choice of where they want to be. And I'm working with people who want to make those kinds of decisions to ground themselves in where they are so that they can go where they want to be, they can have the relationships that they want to have. So that's it. Appreciate you. Be well.